I hope everybody's doing well, inshallah. So I'll go ahead and start with dua. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalatu rasulullah. For those of you who don't know, my name is Radia. If you are not following me, please do so. I am trying to grow this account to 10K, inshallah, so that TikTok can pay me so that I can pay off some debts and continue to keep this roof over our heads and do some other things, have time freedom and things of this nature. Thank you all so much for joining. Welcome. Please share this room with others, share to your social media. That would be greatly appreciated. Excuse me. And for those of you who may be new to TikTok, new to the lives on TikTok, the way in which you can do that is one of two ways. You can tap the screen, which will, there will be some hearts that will follow immediately as you tap. And so, what that does, thank you so much for the follow. Excuse me. What that's going to do, that serves as the algorithm. It's going to be sent out to people you're connected to that are on this app that might want to stop by and listen to the conversation. So we're going to be talking about travel hacks since it was asked. And excuse me. So, yes, if you could kindly share this room. The other way in which you can share is the good old fashioned way, that arrow that's at the bottom of your screen. Just simply, share that to some people that if they travel a lot, or they've had mishaps in their travels, or there might be some things that they could even share as a result of the travels that they have done. So that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum and greetings. Um, so, again, my name is Radia, for those of you who are unaware, and I am trying to grow this account to 10K. And I could do that if you all help me by sharing this live, by following me, by liking some of the posts, and engaging with some of the posts that we have. So I will let it be known. Okay. Suna Styles. I will let it be known, and maybe you all can help me monitor the live here. I have zero tolerance for ignorance and ignorant statements or questions. Um, and I want to stay focused. We're going to be talking about travel hacks and nothing else. That any other questions you may have, that'll be for another time. But today I'm, being very mindful of my time. And so we're going to be talking about travel hacks, as I mentioned. Let's see. Not giving my pager number out for what? Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, don't know how to do that. I think you might have to ask. Let's see. Let's see. How can I get? I don't know how to get you. Someone else had to help me with that before. I think if you request, let me see. Is this the way I can do it? No. Okay. I think it would. Okay. Okay. Following you back. Well, I'm trying to. It's not letting me. Add moderator. Okay. So you're added as my moderator. Alhamdulillah, Baraka Fiki, for your willingness to help. Come on in, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so again, I have zero tolerance for ignorance and ignorant statements or questions. I will block you. I'm not going to acknowledge you. You'll see, just like I just did just now, you will get blocked. That's it. So travel hacks. Wayaki Barakafiki. So travel hacks would be like lessons you've learned in travel, benefits. Even in having mishaps, there's lessons in that, right? so you know what not to do next time, that kind of thing. The consequences of traveling, without a budget or a plan, or you know things like this. So that's what we mean when we talk about travel hacks. So if any of you all would like to share any travel hacks that you may have um, been through or experienced, that would be helpful in getting us started. It's a sharing session here. um, so like what I mentioned, to try in trying to explain travel hacks, um, you never want to travel without a plan. You never want to travel without knowing how much money that you're going, well, like if you're traveling out of the country, and especially if you're traveling in a group, depending on where you're traveling, it will be advised that you only have so much cash or money that you can, trade, into the currency of the country that you're in. Um, so if the person who's assisting you with your travel plans doesn't tell you that, it would be good if you would ask that. Probably, because I'm thinking of my own self, you know, the travel advisor, the travel agent, the travel business owner is so busy with, doing all of the research and making sure, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, that, you know, um, she essentially, especially if it's a really big group, would need another pair of hands to help her delegate and make sure everything is done, and so it might be a something that they forgot to ask or put in their paperwork or what have you, um, or suggest even. So, I know when I was a student, and we traveled, there was a suggestion that was given to the parents of, how much we should have in spending money and not more than that. And I wish they wouldn't have listened to that, because it just, in my opinion, it wasn't enough. I could have gotten more things, done more things or whatever, but they listened to what was it, the suggestion that was given to them, and they stuck to that to the letter, you know. So, um, cruises. Yes, great question. Was there something specific that you wanted to know in regards to that? Um, while I wait for you to answer that, let me see. Ooh, I'm just trying to move the screen. Thank you so much for the follow. Ooh, you barely travel. Well, let's try to change that for you. Let's try to change that. We're gonna talk. We're gonna get into that. How you can, save on your travels. Um, but as far as cruises, I've yet to go on one. I guess you could say I've been on a mini one. I was very young. I barely remember it, but we. I finally I remembered to ask my parents, you know, if the memory that I had was, were we in Canada or were we in Wisconsin Dells? Because that was a place I think we probably went there a couple of times, and I remember it because we were storming. I was small. It was storming. We were on one level of the boat, and we had to go to the bottom level to keep from getting rained on. So that's my fondest memory of, for me it was a big. I remember it was small, but yet, being that small of a child, I was like two, so it was big, and I remember the boat moving, like this. I don't know that I was scared, um, but yeah. So, um, one other thing you always want to check as a travel hack is, you know, the weather. What is the weather like? Not everywhere around the world has four seasons like in the US. So there's either a rain season or a dry season. Um, that seems to be more common around the rest of the world than the four seasons that the US has, or say even, I know Morocco has it. I would say Even the Middle East has it. At least, especially where we were. We were between mountains and the Pacific Ocean. So we still experienced what what is equivalent to what we had here in the U.S. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. So, and for those of you that don't know, my family and I, we are world travelers, and we have traveled the world, having lived in 4 countries, Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And so, yeah, got a lot of lessons we learned. um, so I would get into some things, but this is more if you're in your travel, you're looking to relocate, not just travel there to visit, to be a tourist or what have you, but to actually live there. So that would be a little bit different advice that I would have than for those that would just be traveling. So, what about you guys? What are some things that you have learned for those of you who have traveled? What are some things that you have learned? Yeah, I don't see anybody live on. I'm on, just FYI, I'm on Clubhouse, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube tonight. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. So if you all don't mind, again, if you all can continue to invite others by tapping the screen that sends out alerts, the algorithm has the people to who are on the app or who would come on the app, to make or be able to see that we are live, and maybe they might want to join in on the conversation. I initially had made this, created it as an event. I didn't pay attention to I didn't pay attention to the military time thing. So that was going on. And so for those of you that might have been looking for it this morning, this is why I wasn't on there. So I do apologize. I didn't pay attention to that until I tried to schedule something for the next day. So I do apologize for that. Let's see. I don't know. I think I'm frozen or something, because usually I would see more activity, like, more people coming in. I see it reflected in one area and not here, here, at the bottom. So I'm not sure. But again, if you all could tap the screen so that there's some hearts, and so that others can be aware of this room, that would be greatly appreciated, inshallah. And Judith, I apologize. Did you have questions, something specific as it relates to cruises? I will make the suggestion of those that may have a tendency to get seasick, that you invest in some ginger, maybe even some peppermint, or I do have essential oils that I sell. There would be one that I would recommend, and it's called Digest Zen. Let me see if I can type that, just so you remember what it's called. Okay. Let me put this here. So you can go to the link in my bio and look up the essential oils there, and you'll see that. Thank you so much for joining. You're a stay-at-home mom, and I need tips how to be productive. Okay. Thank you so much for the follow, and for liking the live. Was I frozen or something? Because I missed. Let's see. Did I miss some stuff? Thank you. Let's see. Yeah. Oh my God. I missed a lot of stuff. I don't know what happened. Was that stuck, you guys? Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of, let's see. Okay. Favorite place to travel to. Muslim countries, to be honest. And the ones in particular that I'm speaking of were the countries in which we wound up living in, which were the UAE, Gambia, and Egypt. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. Okay, so cruise across the ocean to Europe. I could look into that for you. I do. Let's see, did they take a cruise? I think my partner booked. I know it was a bunch of travel throughout Europe. I'm not sure if they did a cruise. I'll have to ask her. But message me that question so that I remember, who asked and what the question was, and I'll look into that for you. Let's see. Okay. You're welcome, Judith. Let's see. Thank you. Username, put it here. I went on ahead and just blocked them. Okay. Username, where are you located? Okay, let me. Ooh. Okay. Are you okay? Okay. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So, anyone that wants to share any travel hacks that they encountered, I'm going to tell you the biggest travel hack that there is, especially if you're traveling internationally. Never book travel on your own. Always get someone like myself, a travel business owner, travel advisor, travel agent to book for you. Why? Because there was something that just happened to someone I love and care about very much. They couldn't board their plane because the attempt was to make the trip a one-way trip. They weren't trying to make it a round trip. And so this was a policy of one of our vendors. So they say, I'm going to look into this further. Again, I'm speaking from a place of privilege. So, we have direct contact with, the vendors, the airlines, the suppliers. And but as a customer, trying to call in and ask these questions, you might get different information from what I would get because of the position I am, that I'm in. So I'm going to look into that further. So they had to rebook their whole trip to a whole nother airline because they couldn't board the plane that they had initially bought the tickets for. They said that their policy is that you cannot buy a one-way ticket. You have to have a round trip ticket. So that would be a travel hack that I definitely would share with you all to avoid any mishaps like that. And I don't know how much more. Well, the good thing is they are able to get back their money. But now they have to leave on a whole nother day later. So all of if this was known prior to booking, or if, again, this was if I was consulted, if I was even considered, if I even was asked to do the booking on behalf of this person or these people, this could have been avoided. Allahu Alam. But again, this is information we have access to that you as a consumer, as a customer, do not, unfortunately. So, and you're only hurting yourself. Either, I don't know, maybe, you might be pressed for time or money, or, or maybe even, well, I would imagine they didn't even get to check their bags in. Excuse me, because they couldn't even get on that particular flight, or airline even. So went that far, not just the flight, but the whole airline. They had to find a whole different airline. So anywho, Um, Another hack that I always share when traveling, and this is domestic or international, that you pack at least 1 day's worth of clothing in your carry on. In addition to whatever you've packed in your checked baggage, also carry ons, because of just this example that I just said. And I don't even know, well, if they had their suitcases, they were fine. But if they didn't have their suitcases and they only had their carry-ons, ooh, I've been there and done that. And this was long before um, I had gotten involved in this business, because what happened to us is we missed our flight. And I mean, we were right there, but they wouldn't let us board. I was so mad. The plane hadn't even left. They had just literally closed the doors and wouldn't let us on. I was so mad. But so we didn't, we didn't have, I want to say we didn't, or I don't think so. We didn't have an extra set of clothing in our carry-on, unfortunately. And you would think, me being a mother, I would do that anyway, but I didn't. I was sleep deprived, so I didn't do it. But so, lesson learned. I'm just sharing that with you all. Always pack a change of clothes in your carry-on, as well as, of course, in addition to what you put in your suitcase for your travels. Thank you so much, UMZ, for sharing the live. Alhamdulillah. The rest of you all can do that as well, and you can tap the screen, and that'll do the same thing, alerting people that you're here and that maybe they might want to join in on the conversation. Alhamdulillah. Abdul Aziz, assalamu alaikum, welcome. Let's see. Let me shout out some other people here that came through. Let me see. Oh, okay, same name, Abdul Aziz. I guess you left out and came back in. Let me see some other names. So just so you're aware, if you or any of you all are following me on YouTube, I have a few tips that I put together for you all. So you're more than welcome to look at those. Hajja, or is it supposed to be Hajja or Hajar? Thank you so much for joining. When did time begin? Thank you so much. Okay. Let's see. Let's get back down here. Oops. Anyone else that has any travel hacks that you would like to share? Please feel free. We're all learning from each other, inshallah. So, let me think of another. If you're going to buy water, and I thought I had enough time to drink it before we needed to get through TSA and all of that. But I had just bought this bottle of water. Knowing I don't like bottled water anyway, but just bought it and they would not let me bring it on. They made me throw it away. I was so mad. That was like I want to say I paid $8 for that water, man. And it was a small bottle as far as I'm concerned. And I again, lesson learned. Anyone else? Anyone else with any travel hacks? Feel free to share. So another travel hack, and I do this. This is even in going to the store. Make sure when you have children that they have already eaten, and make sure that 2 hours prior to the time you need to board the plane, because you want to get to, depending on what time of year you're traveling, you want to be there 2 to 3 hours prior. In some cases, you might even need to be there 4 hours before. So if that be the case, children, get antsy, right? And so you might want to make sure that they don't have anything to drink until after you have gotten past TSA and security and all of that. And maybe you're sitting there waiting to board the plane, because that way that'll keep you from having to go back and forth taking them to the restroom, right? So yeah, we all liquids had to stop 2 hours prior to us leaving, and we still do that still to this day. We don't drink any liquids or any fruits that turn into liquid because we don't want to have any additional stops. We know, depending on where we're traveling, especially if we're driving, the longer distance that we travel would require two stops to gas up, and that would also be the time in which we would pray, for the most part. And a shorter trip would require at least one stop to fill up and to pray. So we don't want to stop any more than that, or we'll never get there, right? So that's another travel hack. Anyone else? I don't know what's going on. Am I frozen again? Because I stopped seeing things. I don't understand what's happening. Usually that doesn't happen when I'm live. I mean, it's been since earlier this week. I don't remember the last day I went live on this account, but earlier this week. And the last 2 nights I was too tired. I was able to, alhamdulillah, go to bed early. And I just said, well, each day I was like, I'm going to try it again tomorrow. I'm going to try it again tomorrow. And it, tomorrow would come and go. But so I said, let me go ahead and do this today. Start with you all. As you all know, I have other accounts, and so I go live in those as well. But yeah, I don't see any other shares, advice or hacks. Well, pretty quiet. But while I've got you all here, if there are any questions or suggestions that you all may have for future topics, feel free to let me know, and I'll put that into consideration, and eventually it'll become a room or a session, inshallah. So let's see. Yeah, I don't see any activity on any of the other accounts either. So I'm going to get off here then. And I'm going to eat my dinner and then I'll be going live on Pad Specialists. For those of you that may be following that account, feel free to hop on over there. I'm hoping if I don't get itis, I'm hoping that if I don't get itis, that I'll be over there in the next half hour, no later than 45 minutes, inshallah. So I will go ahead and get off here. Again, if you're not following me, I would love to follow. I'm trying to grow this account to 10K, inshallah. And so we'll end here. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Thank you all so much for joining and for following and me as well as the live. I greatly appreciate it. And inshallah, we will see one another again in the social media streets. Assalamu alaikum and good night.